Yeah, hi everyone. I'm
Hi.
really excited to launch this community with Valeria. And today, what we will do is we will talk more about this community, what our plans are, what is the idea behind this community. So we just want to give you um, an overview of what it is. And yeah, first we want to start with
With ourselves, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
or maybe
but
there is another slide, right?
yeah, we don't have a slide
Ah, we
about
don't
that.
have a slide.
Sorry.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, I
So,
just thought we will introduce
okay.
ourselves like that.
Yeah, let's do that. So, for those who don't know me, I my background is software engineering. I became a data scientist. I worked in data science for quite some time. But most of the time, I was actually doing engineering work, like data engineering, machine learning engineering. MLOps was my big focus. And then at the same time, I started DataTalks.Club, which is a community of people who love data. And there I focus on teaching. And maybe this is how some of you might know me because of the free courses we do in DataTalks.Club. And Valeria, who will tell us more about herself. We have been working together for quite some time in DataTalks.Club, and I'm really excited to launch a new thing together with Valeria. So, Valeria, please tell us a few words about yourself.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you. Um, yeah, my name is Valeriia. We've been working with Alexey, I guess, for at least 3 or 4 years,
Maybe
maybe.
four, yeah, for
Yeah,
quite some time.
yeah, yeah. Um, I'm my background is in economics, but I studied not only economics but also econometrics, machine learning, and AI. And I had a passion about explaining things in plain words. So at my university, I used to work in a student journal where we had interviews with economists and researchers to understand how they work inside their labs and what actually economics lab can look like, because we're used to like chemical lab, biological lab, etc. And this is how these two connection with these two passions connected. And yeah, I ended up being a social media manager for an AI newsletter, and this is how we met with Alexey. I've learned about Data Talks Club, and I joined it as a newsletter editor, and then it all expanded into working on Data Talks Club content overall. And yeah, some time ago we've came up with an idea about another community, which is AI shipping labs. So yeah, this is basically it. I think we can go to
Mhm.
the main
Yeah.
agenda.
And like, just want to say a few words. Like, every time you see a piece of content from DataTalks.Club, it's actually from Valeria. So thanks, Valeria, a lot for doing this. And
Yeah,
what we want to do today, what we want to cover today, is what is this AI shipping labs that we've been silently working on for the last couple of months. So we want to tell you more about that and what kind of activities we plan there. Right, so this is on the agenda. You can read the exact points, but maybe we'll go next.
yeah,
Um, so first, I want to talk about different problems that we might have in general as a community, and then how can we solve them. And today I opened Twitter. So I was preparing for this launch, and I opened Twitter. And when I saw this, I saw things like there is a new project, right? Or um, there is always trending, somebody's sharing a new tool, and it's so difficult to understand what's happening because, like, every time you open Twitter, you see messages like that. Like, for example, this one. If you're not doing this, you're leaving 80% of Cloud Code's power on the table. And all these tweets, all these messages on social media, like on Twitter, on Instagram, sorry, Twitter, LinkedIn, Reddit, whatever, like they create a feeling of feeling behind, right? And this is what I constantly feel every time I open Twitter. And like this is a big problem because every time something new happens and you think, okay, is it something useful for me? Is it something not useful for me? And I want to focus on becoming better AI engineer, knowing more things about AI. And I'm constantly bombarded with new things and I have no idea like is it useful, is it not useful? And instead of progressing with my own work, I always try to chase the new shiny thing, try to understand this, and I lose focus. And this is one of the problems some of you might also relate because the amount of information we have these days on the internet is just too overwhelming. And this is already a conversation I had, so some of you might already got access to AI shipping labs. And typically, what I do is I try to talk to members who join, and this is one of the conversations. So some members confirm that this is indeed the case. The problem they have is like, I want to build something, but it's too difficult for me to choose because I'm constantly bombarded with, I have this information overload, and it's just too difficult for me to decide on anything to start with. Yeah.
So yeah, the lack of content is not actually the problem. I also talked with one of the current AI Shipping Labs members, and I was actually surprised by them as a content manager, obviously, when they said that content is not the problem, and the problem is to have an accountability partner or partners. So some place where you can go and you can concentrate on your own project and know exactly what you build and what is your timeline, and have a community that could help you move things forward. So yeah, as Alexey said, there is a lot of content nowadays, especially about AI, and I want to cover some of the situations you may find yourself in. So first of all, first one could be that you try to build a project, but you have a full-time job and you just constantly keep saying that, okay, I will do it next week or maybe next weekend. And you try to find time, but then life gets in the way, work runs late, you are getting tired, and you don't have the powers in your power bank to work on the project. Another option could be you don't know where to start. For example, we already had one question about how to become an AI engineer in 2026. And if you go on Reddit, you will see a lot of questions like that: how to become with an AI engineer with different backgrounds, and you can find a lot of content online and a lot of roadmaps, tools, and get you just end up with a lot of content and resources open, but you don't know where to start. Another option could be that you get stuck in the tutorial hell. This is actually a real concept people discuss on Reddit when you constantly follow tutorials, but you don't get out of your comfort zone and out of the tutorial content and its borders. You cannot try new things, or you try them and they are breaking, and it's hard for you to understand what to do next. And yeah, the fourth situation is actually about that. When your project grows, you may have problems with project management, or you have new errors or blockers that is hard for you to solve by yourself, and you lose momentum, you lose motivation, and you just leave this project and uh, don't finalize it. Yeah. Alexey gets a lot of mentoring requests
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah. So, like quite often I get contacted with people who share these problems that we mentioned, and they say, "Hey, like, this is my background. This is where I want to go, and I need a mentor." But typically, unfortunately, I have to decline because, like, as somebody who's running DataTalks.Club, as somebody who is running courses, my time is quite limited, so I cannot really have one-to-one mentoring with people, and it's very hard to scale, right? So I cannot really provide this regular support. I cannot really provide this accountability, and this is something that can potentially solve the problems we talked about, because mentoring is something that keeps people motivated, helps people to show up. But what we want to have instead is we want to have an attempt to scale mentoring. And typically, when I speak with people who come to me with mentoring requests, what they really need is not a mentor, but a reason to show up, a reason to um, prepare things. So they know, okay, I have a mentoring call. I have a call with my mentor tomorrow, and I haven't done anything. And if I don't do anything, so what I'm going to talk to my mentor. So now they just push themselves, do something, and then they have something to talk about to the mentor. So this is something that I see quite often. And so, in my opinion, what I think what people actually need is some sort of accountability structure. So not necessarily a mentor, but a clear plan of what to do and a group of people, a community of people who will keep them accountable, and they will support each other, they will push each other forward. And this is one of the ideas we have, why we wanted to start these communities. So we wanted to create this accountability structure. We wanted to have content to support that, and we wanted to create an environment where everyone is helping, everyone is moving towards their own goals, and everyone is supportive, right? So, and the focus here is on doing and on building things, and also on collaborating and on learning things.
Yeah, should I focus
I
on
don't know
that
if I'm.
or yeah,
I can you hear me well? Because I
yeah.
think my internet is a bit shaky.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Should I step on it or
Yeah, if you
I
have anything to add.
yeah, I just wanted to add that with all of the free Data Talks Club courses, Zoom camps, we see that people's reviews are that these courses were actually very useful for them because of the project-based learning, and because of their at the end of each Zoom camp we have a a compulsory project. Each person should finalize and review three peers to have a certificate after for that course. And people been writing us that it's helped them to secure a job or to show their skills during their interviews. So this is one of the main ideas, as Alexey said, of the community, learning by doing and developing reliable systems instead of prototypes and sharing them with a community. So yeah. When you join the AI shipping labs, you get an invite to Slack where everything happens, where the conversations happen, and we will use specific channels for different activities, which are these. These 5 activities are part of the main subscription tier, which we'll cover a bit later. Alexey, do you want
That's my
to?
part, right?
Yeah.
So we discussed who was going to cover that, but anyways, so in the beginning we were talking about different problems, right? And this is how we see. This is what the solution we see to these problems. So first of all, mentoring. I mentioned I get this mentoring request, but I think what people actually need is this accountability structure and planning, right? So what we want to give is this accountability structure. And then I think we have more detailed slides, right, for each of these things. So
Yeah, yeah,
maybe I'll just, so we already talked about this like accountability structure. So what we want to have is a reason to show up prepared, right? So uh, an event, like a regular checkup, where similar to stand-ups in a company, where you show up, you talk about your progress, you talk about your blockers, and you talk about your plans. And then you do this with a group of people, right? So everyone could be working on different projects, but then you also get context from each other. So you not only learn yourself, but you see, okay, the other person had this particular problem, right? And then you learn how they solved it. So even though in this case it's not something you experience firsthand, but this way you get kind of second-hand experience into what kind of problems happen. So it's very similar to the setup that we have in companies. Um, but this is a structure. You can think about this as mastermind groups. I don't know if you know this concept, but this is something similar that we want to have in this community. Another thing is group learning. So you can think about this as seminars in university. So in university, sometimes you have these classes that are seminars. So let's say you have a group of students, and then the teacher uh, breaks the class into subgroups and then assigns a paper to each of the students, right? And then they have to really understand this paper and they need to present the results to the rest of the students by the end of the class, right? So we want to have something similar. It doesn't have to be paper. It can be some concept. It can be some project. But there you work in a group, you do something, and then you present what you learn to others. Building sessions. So this is another idea that we have is I constantly work on different things, right? So right now, for example, I work on a project that allows to, um, so I'm trying to describe it. So let's say there is a project you want to implement, and this project, I want to follow specification-driven development. I have a team of agents, and I want this team of agents. So I have a PM whose task is to get a description of a problem and to formalize it in such a way that it's understandable, it's very technical. And then I have an agent who is a software engineer. Its role is to actually implement this in code. I have an agent who is a QA. Its role is to test that what software engineer implemented actually works. So I have a team of agents, and I want to organize the work. I want to have a process. So this is a project I'm working on, like how to make this organization, how to make this team of agents working together, right? And what we can do is I can describe, okay, this is what I'm working on right now, and these are the problems I have right now. Let's solve them together. Or maybe some of you have a problem and you don't know how to solve it, and then we solve it together, right? So these are events where for 90 minutes or 2 hours, we sit together a few times per month and we uh, work on something. It's not prepared materials. It's something that like, okay, here is a task, here's a problem, and this is how I solve this problem, right? So could be uh, somebody like I don't know, some of you is going through the interview process and then you want to pick up, well, my brain or the brain of the community. Or like, for example, yes, OpenClaw. One of the community members said that when you join a community, we start talking to you and we try to find out what your interests are and what you want to learn. And one of the community members said they are interested in OpenClaw. I have no idea what I know what OpenClaw is, but I have no experience setting it up. So this could be one of the topics where we just, okay, the plan is to set up OpenClaw and resolve all the problems that appear, that happen. How do we make it safe? How do we run it in a sandbox environment so it doesn't affect our system and things like that, right? So we just sit together and we try to figure out what's the best way to set it up. So it's not a prepared webinar. It's like, okay, we need to solve something, and then we hit some problems. We try to solve these problems together. And the goal for me is to explain my thought process. Because what I notice is when I walk through some problems, some people say, it's really useful to see how you solve problems. So this is what I want to do together with you, like to dedicate longer sessions uh, about building something together. Or this is like this light hive. This is a project I'm working on right now. This is exactly how to organize a team of agents that work together such that they actually build something useful. That's another project. And I have quite a few projects that I'm working on. So we can take some issues, some tasks from these projects and work together on solving these projects.
Is it my part? I guess
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. The fourth point is keeping up without the noise. We had another member request about what we already discussed at the beginning of this presentation. So people get bombarded by a lot of new tools, frameworks, and all of them claim that it's a must-try tool, must-try framework, and you are, missing something if you don't try it. So we decided to include this as part of the community. We already did this with Alexey's personal newsletter. We covered Karpathy's author research project and just recent Milo Jovovich Mempalace, sorry. So we will do this like once a week or maybe twice a month. We will select one trending topic and cover it in a more detail. What are the internals of it and how it works in the engineering perspective. Yeah. So currently, these are the free versions in the free newsletter, but these articles will be under a paywall and will be available only for AI Shipping Labs members.
And I want to add a few words that there, like the goal for this is to really understand how things work. Because, for example, usually open Twitter and everyone is talking about Karpathy auto research. And for me, sometimes it's really simple to wait a minute, but this is just hyperparameter optimization because my background as data scientist easily allows me to map this. Or, for example, with this Milas Mempalas, I have some ideas. Okay, this is context management, but it's different from RAG because this and this and this. So our idea is to take some concept that is currently trending and try to explain it in very simple terms that you understand what it is. Like we try not to give too many low-level details, just high-level overview of what it is and where to look more. Like, okay, this is the file. If you're interested, this is the source code where you can read more about these things. So this is the idea that we have, right? And we already tested this idea a few times in my Substack. And from what we see, people are quite interested, the subscribers are quite interested in this kind of content. So we think that this is something that community in general is interested in.
Yeah, yeah. And the fourth activity is career support. This is what we thought would be one of the most important points because when you have a closed community, you can talk about more things than you can do it publicly, like interviews, offers, salary discussions. And the idea is not that we will, focus on each of you and solve your current career problem, but the idea is to work on your problems as a community, so each member can input something that could be useful for your own question. Of course, we will try to be to keep close attention to every one of you, especially when you are joining early and the community is small. But yeah, we imagined it as a community work, and also as I have a background in content management and I help build Alexey social media. I also helped building different social media for um, various AI newsletters and other leaders on LinkedIn or X. Um, so my idea is to share my knowledge about content management in terms of your personal brand and online presence. So how can you easily build your social media, how you can write about yourself on LinkedIn, or how you can mm, build your GitHub so that it will be popular or it will be meaningful for recruiters or for anyone who goes on it to check your projects, and how you can describe your project so that it makes sense for other people. So yeah, this is like a combination of my experience and your community knowledge that you will share for each of the cases that we will discuss inside the community. So yeah, um, we wanted to talk also about being an early member. So this is being an early member means that you join the community right now, and while it's still small and we have more attention, not more attention span, like we have Alexey can,
Yeah, maybe I
uh,
can say.
yeah.
So we're basically right now, when the community is still small, we can individually, we can talk to each one of you individually, right? So, and this is what I was doing at DataTalks Club when it just started, when it was like 100 people, when it was 200 people. When it grew over this number, it simply became impossible for me to try to understand, to try to get to know one of each single person, right? But at the beginning, this I was trying to do this, and we want to do it as well here. So what we want to do is every time somebody is joining, we want to understand what your problem is and what not problem, like what are your plans, what are your ambitions, why you're joining this community, and what motivated you to join this community, what are the problems you're dealing with, and how we personally can help you personally with solving these problems. And we want to have a conversation with you and come up with a focused plan for the next steps. So you join the community, we learn more about you, we learn more about the problems you're dealing with, and we come up with a focused plan for the next, let's say, quarter or next half a year, which is your development plan with concrete steps that you need to make. And this plan is what you use. And we already talked about these accountability structures. So this is the plan you use to prepare for these regular checkups meetings. So right now we can do this personally as the community is growing. We will not be able to scale this personal approach, right? But as the community is growing right now, we can give you personal attention at the beginning. So this is what you're getting by joining now.
Yeah, so as Alexey said, we can give more attention to each person's situation. And if we compare the case when the community gets larger, we cannot do that. And you have to come up with your own plan to follow that accountability structure that we suggest. But right now, we can think about it together. Either directly, you can communicate directly with Alexey or with me on a call, and I will just summarize the main points, and we will discuss it with Alexey, and I will get back to you with a personal plan. And here are some of the upcoming events that we planned.
Oh, that's me, right? So, Valeriia and I, we were talking about like what exactly, because we want to, yes, main things that should come from you, right? So we talk, we come up with the plan, but we also want to have content, right? So this is first of all to make it interesting for you to join, but also we want to. I really like teaching, so we want to continue teaching, right? And some of you know that there is a course on Maven where I teach about AI engineering, but some things are not a part of the course because it's simply not possible to put everything there. So like otherwise the course would grow too much. So we thought, okay, what are the things that people are interested in? What are the things that people want to learn? And based on that, we came up with a short plan of things we want to cover right now in the upcoming month, right? So the first one, so people are in general are interested in deploying AI projects. So here, the first workshop that we'll have is going to be about not just creating a Streamlit application, but actually creating a proper fast API backend with AI agent, having like a proper persistent database, and then deploying it. So some things, like for example, I don't cover fast API in the course. So this will be extra. So for me, it's interesting because I prepare new material. For you, it's interesting because for you, it's actionable thing that you can follow and you can um, reproduce and include it in your portfolio. Right. And then I think we talked about coding sessions. Right now, we are really interested in your feedback. What kind of coding sessions you are interested in to include? Like one of the first ideas we had was OpenFlow. So we can, well, it's not really a coding session, but like building session, let's say.
Practical.
Practical. Yeah, exactly. So like unless you have any other ideas, we can start with that. But here we want your input, right? Another idea we have is another workshop is some of you might be interviewing for AI engineering role, and we take these home assignments that you might be getting during the process, and we can solve it together. If none of you is going through this process, I have some ideas. I have a ton of data, what kind of problems AI engineers are required to solve as part of their take-home assignment. So we can select any of them and solve together, but also you are free to bring in your problem and we can collectively try to solve it.
Yeah, and another event is a webinar about building your LinkedIn. So I sat down and thought about what is the first event we can plan for the community, for the personal brand side of things. And I figured out LinkedIn is one of the biggest social media, professional social media, and it is much easier to grow on LinkedIn than on Twitter, at least in my experience, because on Twitter, on X, uh, there is so much content that you cannot just compete with it easily. You have to publish a lot of content by yourself to compete. So yeah, we will start with LinkedIn. I want to prepare some templates that you can use and a workflow that you can adapt to yourself and to your project or to your study plan uh, that we covered just here, uh, that we will create together with you. And I want it to be as a challenge, 30 days challenge, similar to the project-based learning. You would have to post some number of posts on LinkedIn. You will share it with us in a specific channel, and I want members to interact with it. So your posts will be for your. It will be easier for your posts to grow because other people can react on them, comment on them. Yeah, and you by the end of this month you would have a content library on your LinkedIn or maybe on your personal website too. So yeah, this is my plan for this webinar.
Yeah, I will also like the post and engage, so all my followers will see this. Well, not all, but some might.
Yeah, the algorithm decides. um, yeah, the next part we want to cover is membership options. um, I can cover it if you want.
Yeah, I can start. So, like, the idea is to have a paid community. So, DataTalks.Club is free, but this community, Shipping Labs, is paid because we want you to be more motivated. And like when it's not free, you're more motivated. And there are different plans for this community. Most of what we discussed falls under the main plan. So you have these accountability circles, you have all these group activities, you have these events. So this falls under this main plan. The basic plan contains only written materials, so there is no access to the community. But some things that we have an event, right? And then there is a summary of this event, and we send this event by email. We send it to everyone, but people who subscribe to the basic plan get only this write-up. They don't get to access the main event, right? And these things we talked about, like selecting a trendy topic and then breaking it down, write like creating a write-up about this. So it also is in the basic plan. So in the main plan, all the rest of the activities, but there is also a premium plan. So premium plan includes some extra things. And the most important part of this premium is courses, right? So um, I really like teaching. I really like courses. I like creating courses, and I have quite a few ideas of the kind of content I can create. And from my experience creating courses, be it free courses on DataTalks Club or paid course on Maven, I see that sometimes people join the courses, but they struggle a little with Python, so they need help with Python. And I thought, what if I create a course that really helps to get up to speed with Python, specifically for AI engineering, but it will also help in general for general software engineering with Python. But the focus will mostly be on AI engineering, but um, without a lot of AI. So mostly plain Python, like how you create how do you write Python code, object-oriented programming with Python, different frameworks with Python, like FastAPI, things like that. So the focus is core Python, right? So how do you write good Python code? How do you read Python code? So then for you, so for me, the main motivation is that, let's say, if you're taking the Maven course, so this gives you all the Python you need. But then I thought, it could be such a good project, such a good course for everyone, regardless of whether they join the main course or not, right? And that this is the idea I'm currently actively working on. Well, not super actively, but this is work in progress. And this is, again, the format is project-based. I'm really a big fan of learning through building. And again, this, if you took any of my courses, this is exactly the same format. So you learn by building things, and the focus is you have a project and you have to build this project end to end, and then there is homework where you build a different project, right? And this way you learn Python. So this is a course working project, and then I have some ideas. I have a lot of ideas of kind of what kind of courses I have, but there are two specific ideas. So the first one is specification-driven development for AI, because we know that the more concrete you are in what you want, the better AI coding agents are. So if you just say, "Hey, build me Twitter, make no mistakes," yeah, it will build something, but like whether this is something you want or not, that's another question, right? But then you can be very concrete. Okay, I want like as a user, I want to go to this website and I have this feature, and when I click on them, this is what happens. These are my acceptance criteria. These are my user stories. Uh, this is the definition of done, right? So what I find what I discovered is for agents, this structure that we have that the same as when we work in teams, right? So this kind of software development methodology, like specification-driven development, is really helpful for developing with AI assistants, right? So, and then you have clear roles in your AI team. You have like software engineer, you have QA engineer, you have a PM, and you want to organize the work as a team. And this is the course I want to build, right? So how do you turn something vague into something concrete, and how you use AI agents for that? But when this work is happening, what AI is known for is this term called AI slop. So these are the things that um, AI can write some code, but this code is not always great. It works, but it's not pleasant to read. It's not pleasant to maintain. Some of this is very excessive. Like you don't really need most of the code. The term is AI slop. So another idea I have is, okay, we know that AI produces this slope. How do we get rid of this? How do we remove the slope? And how do we actually get to the main, uh, the core functionality and remove all the fluff, right? So this is the idea behind this course. So Python for AI engineering is already work in progress. Others are just ideas. I have many more ideas, but the important part is I want to have courses and I want you to learn from this. I want you to learn by building. So it's going to follow the same structure as all my other courses where we learn by building. And probably we have another slide, right? Okay. But here, what I wanted to say is, so these are just ideas. Everything we discussed are just ideas. So it's not a promise that we are going to give you exactly this. So these are just, uh, how to say, we want to start a discussion with you. So we want you to join the community. We want to learn what kind of problems you have, and we want to find out together what is the best way to address these problems, be it courses, be it content, be it events, be it like accountability structures. But we want to learn from you. We want to understand what is the most effective way of dealing these problems and bringing you where you want to go, right? And all these ideas, this is how we see it, but we don't know what will work, what will not work, but we want to figure it out with you. And the same with courses. So these courses are just ideas, but as you join the community, as you share what you want with us, we think, okay, like this refactoring AI slope might be interesting, but actually, because like 5 out of 20 members expressed this, perhaps we should focus our effort in somewhere else, right? So this is like it's just an invite for you to start thinking about what we want to build together. And as a community member, you can always vote and say, hey, like out of these 5 courses, 5 course ideas, I want to vote for this one, right? And based on these votes, we can decide what we actually build together. Okay, and this is my part too, right? So some of you, um, many of you are probably coming here because of DataTalks.Club. We also recently included a link to this event in our newsletter, right? Um, so you might be wondering, okay, there is a new paid community. Um, how does it relate to DataTalks.Club? Okay, yeah. So I want to assure you that DataTalks.Club is not going away. right? So all the Zoom camps we have, they are free and they're going to stay free, right? So for example, uh, I have a course on Maven, and it's not only a paid course, it's quite an expensive course. But LLM Zoom Camp is still there. It's not going to replace, I'm not going to replace LLM Zoom Camp, which is a course also about AI engineering. I'm not going to replace it with the Maven course. So LLM Zoom Camp is going to stay there. It's going to launch soon, and I'm going to also update the content because these things they get out of date pretty quickly. So I still plan to continue putting effort into DataTalks.Club. So it's not going away. It's going to stay there, and it's a big passion of mine, and I really want to make education accessible. But AI shipping labs is different. So the focus there is to have a more, let's say, intimate, more close connection, right? So we really want to bring together a group of motivated people who are interested in building, who are interested in learning, who are interested in being active, and we want to give you our full attention. With a big open community, it's not possible, right? And that's why we also make it paid, right? So to actually be able to devote this time. And there was a previous slide with a bit of history, right? So last year, with the thinking what else we can do outside of DataTalks.Club, the first idea was course on Maven. So for me personally, people from Maven had been pestering me for quite some time, saying, "Hey, we have this cool platform. You do these courses. How about you try building a course with us?" So I was ghosting them for quite some time until I thought, maybe I should try. And then I did, and the outcome was quite nice. I really liked what came out of this, and I saw that there is definitely there is interest in paid learning. And then at the same time, we started this personal newsletter. Valeriia is the editor for this newsletter. Um, so where I wanted to do something different from DataTalks.Lab. So in DataTalks.Lab, the newsletter we have is it's basically just community updates. But there is no way where I can share what I'm doing right now, what I'm building right now. And Valeriia and I discussed what we can do. And this personal newsletter appeared as a result, right? So where I share things I'm working on. And then these two things together, the course and the community, the course and the newsletter, eventually they kind of converge into this idea of having a tight community where not only I share what I learn, like in the newsletter, but we do it together, right? Because I see that there is demand for this kind of content from the course on Maven. There are readers of the newsletter who are interested in this, so we thought, how about we put this together? And eventually, the idea of building a community, we came up with this idea. We started to shape it. It's been a couple of months. Some of you already joined the community. So we already spoke with some of you, and now we are ready to open it to a wider group. So all of you are welcome to join. Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the main part. So we actually wanted to spend a lot more time into answering your questions, but we spent a lot of time talking. But
That's okay.
yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. But now it's time for us to answer your questions. But first of all, I think we need to share the link to AI Shipping Labs, right? So you see
Yeah.
this link here. So what I will do now is I will put it. mm, Maybe Valeriia, you can just
I can do
open
it
it here.
if you want.
Yeah, maybe just open the website and we,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is our website. And by the way, Valeriia developed this website. We soon will write a post of how this website was created on Substack. But this is the main website right now. Yeah, here, of course. We will include all these links in the description. But the main thing is if you scroll down, there is a, yeah. So this
An
thing,
option
so
to
you choose the
join.
level you're interested in, you choose monthly or annually, you sign up, and then our integration is not ideal right now. So when you sign up, it might be that, well, you will not get an automated invite to Slack yet. So if you don't get any email after you subscribe, I would like to ask you to write to me and say, hey, like I subscribed, but I did not receive any emails. So if you don't hear from me, like let's say after 12 hours after you subscribe, if you don't hear from us, if you don't get any email, because it's still work in progress, we're still working on the system that automates everything, just please ping me and I'll invite you to Slack, right? And then in Slack, you will get access to all the things we talked about. Plus, in Slack, we start this personal onboarding that we mentioned. Um, yeah,
Yeah, if you want to keep updated about news inside AI shipping labs or about Alexey's projects, you can subscribe to his personal newsletter, Alexey on Data, on Substack. And here we already announced the community. And yeah, as Alexey said, there will be another post about how we build it. What is the first version, the actual version of the website, and what Alexey works on, how the website should look like in the future. Yeah, I think that's it. And yeah, if
yeah,
you want to
right.
ask a question, you
Yeah.
can.
So I will put the links in the description. So if you're watching this in the recording, you will get the links in the description of this. If you're watching it right now, the links are in the live chat. But right now, maybe it's better if I share the screen because I have a Slido
Okay.
open. Okay, now it worked. So we have this amazing tool called Slido. So you can go to Slido and enter this AI labs. It's AI shipping labs, right? Or you can use this for to scan it with your mobile phone and ask your question, right? And also it's a pin linked in the live chat, so you can just use it to ask questions. And yeah, we have quite a few questions, so let's cover them. Would the system design, scalability, fault tolerance, and latency issues be covered as a part of AI shipping labs? So as I mentioned, that right now the exact content is not set in stone. So we want to hear from you what is interesting for you. So now you mentioned that it is a topic that you're interested in, and if other members mention that this is interesting for you, then we can create content about that. But also, like even if let's say other community members are less senior than you, so they are more interested in just learning about the basics of engineering, because this system design, scalability, fault tolerance, these are the things that come later. We can, together with you, develop a learning plan, right? Where you actually do it with our input. You can, so while maybe there is no content that specifically covers these parts, but this is something you want to developed, like this is the area where you want to develop, we can still come up with a plan and address this specific need, right? So we want to hear from you and we want to make content that is interesting for many of you, but still we want to keep this personal touch. And even if maybe, let's say, only one person is interested in scalability, we can still cover that, right? And AI system design is actually an interesting emerging topic. And recently I saw that it's becoming a part of the interview for AI engineers. Like, how do you actually design AI systems? So this is something that we definitely should cover. I think this is really interesting because if many of you are actually going through interviews, or many of you are already know AI engineering, but you want to progress there, then these are the topics that we definitely need to cover, right? Yeah. So the answer is yeah, but also it depends, right? But for you personally, we can always come up with a plan that makes sense. How to land a job as an AI engineer in 2026? I am 5 years experienced front-end developer. So I already answered this question. So, okay, I need to go back to Chrome because, yeah, this is better. So what I want to do is I want to go to this website. I'm going to share the link with you. If I find, okay, here. Because Edge is very confusing, so it creates a separate thing for each of the tabs. So, okay. So I had a series of webinars recently where what I did is I scraped a lot of data from job portals, where we have AI engineering positions, right? And then I did 4 webinars about this. And I think on every single webinar, I need to add recording here. On every single webinar, somebody's asking, hey, I'm a data engineer, I'm a software engineer, I'm like a front-end engineer. How do I transition? So I think, so the actual questions are here. It's like for each of the webinars, I also added the questions that people asked during the webinar. So maybe here, oh, front-end engineer, good.
Yeah, I think there were
Yeah.
someone.
But the interesting part is we have this learning paths. And here we have from backend engineer, from data engineer, from data scientist, from front-end engineer, from ML engineer. Okay, let's take a look at this from front-end engineer. So as a front-end engineer, you already have this experience of developing front-end, and for you, it's probably not very difficult to go full stack because with Node.js, you can do um, you can include backend. You probably already do this. And right now, from what I see in all these jobs I analyzed, TypeScript is actually quite common. So more and more AI engineers start using TypeScript. So this is your kind of superpower. So this is what other AI engineers don't necessarily have, but you already have the skill. So you know JavaScript, you know TypeScript, and in these languages you can already do a lot of AI engineering. So if you think about this, Claude Code, which many of you might be using, or you must have heard about this, it's actually written in Node.js, right? It's JavaScript. Oh, wrong thing, sorry. Um, so what I would recommend for you is double down on becoming full stack. And if you're not proficient in TypeScript yet, I would recommend getting to know it better and then use these skills to start building AI. Eventually, I still suggest to go to Python and start learning more and more Python, but you can already do AI with the skills you already have, right? So um, you do TypeScript and then you start learning, okay, like with TypeScript, how do I make calls to OpenAI? How do I create an agent with OpenAI, right? How do I make agent do what I want, right? And this would take like, I don't know, 2, 3 months maybe to develop these kind of things. Then I would suggest you go into the Python world and try to learn more. Because at the end, while TypeScript is we see more and more positions that use TypeScript for AI engineering. Python is still number one. And I think we have some data to back this up. Let's try to think where it is.
We also have
Okay.
it on our website.
Yeah, right. So maybe I should go there. But anyways, so what I wanted to say is most of the skills still require Python, right? So they don't uh, require Node.js.
Python
It's
or TypeScript as the
yeah.
second
This
popular
one, right?
one.
AI engineering resources. Then,
Yeah, learning
yeah.
path.
Here. Yeah, thank you, Valeria. So most of the positions require Python, right? And then the second most popular TypeScript. So eventually you will still need to, I don't know why React is a programming language. Though. But yeah, there are some,
Sorry.
ignore this. But like Python and TypeScript, they are like TypeScript is strong second thing here. Okay. And then, yeah,
Also,
yeah,
can I add something?
of course.
Yeah, we also have in the resources section, we have a section with interview questions based on Alexey's research. as well. And there we have only questions, and we get requests from people who wanted to have answers. But what we've seen online is that there are a lot of lists of questions that are mostly theoretical and not related to practical work. And the answers there look a bit AI generated, or maybe they are not. But what we wanted to do is to create like a library with real thought through answers, and we want to make it part of the community. So the second version of the website should have mm, different levels of access. An access, if you just sign up for AI shipping labs on the website, you will have access to one collection of resources. If you are on the main subscription, you'll have
Sorry.
another one.
It's work in progress. I think the
Yeah.
link is. I need to fix it. Yeah, it's work in progress. I wanted to show you how it should look like, but I guess maybe I should try this one, the version.
So yeah,
But yeah,
our idea is that these answers should be uh, n- maybe under a paywall, or maybe under just
sign up.
a
Yeah.
sign up. Yeah.
hmm Yeah, but we want to make it easier for you to prepare for this. And like you ask how to land a job. So we have a lot of materials for that. We can definitely help with building a roadmap for you. For front-end developer, it's not impossible. It's actually you have very good background as engineer already. Just need to be specific about what kind of things you need to add. And then we can also support you through this process because we already have a lot of data of kind of what kind of things you will be asked and what kind of things you will need to build and so on. And then we can also help you figure out what are the answers to these questions. For the next one, maybe Valeria, you want to take it?
Yeah, I can take it from the marketing perspective, and probably you can be more useful in terms of the market, in terms of the AI engineer market. I can say that we've seen a lot of feedback from people from Zoom camps. There we have an activity called Learning in Public. And this is the concept where you share your learnings, your problems, your things that may be your issues online, and you build an online presence. And with social media, the main point is consistency. So every week we give people a task to post online. And we've seen a great feedback from different people. Like we have on Alexey's Substack, we have an article about why learning in public is such a great concept. And there we have screenshots of people sharing how they get promoted thanks to learning in public. And this also applies to people who want to establish themselves on the market. If you have an online presence nowadays, I think it's much easier for you to find a job, and especially if you work on a practical side of, like, if you work on your own projects and instead of just learning, you have a product you can share. You have so many things to share with the community on social media, and you just need to use it as much as you can. And I guess for the AI engineering and AI engineer market as a job market, it's also important to have the most important part is to have projects and to prove that you can build a real AI apps, AI-based apps. But I think Alexey can add on this.
Yeah, I would say that you don't like on social media. Um, you don't need to. Sometimes people say, but hey, like I'm not a professional and I actually want to establish credibility. But if I share what I learn, people will think I'm just a student who is learning. What I usually say and what I think about this is that you want to be authentic. You don't want to pose and pretend that you're a professional when, like, I don't know about your situation. You say you're entirely self-taught. To what extent it applies to AI engineering, but let's say you're just learning AI engineering. You don't want to pretend to be a pro when you're not. You just say, hey, like these are the things I'm learning right now, and these are the things I'm building right now, and you're free to join me in my journey, right? And I'm sharing what I'm learning, and just try to be yourself, like try to be genuine, be yourself. You don't need to pretend that you're like a senior AI engineer when you're not, right? So, and then people who have similar problems, they will start following you. They will start asking questions, and then you will develop connection with these people. And then also people who are hiring, they will see you. And then with time, it doesn't happen overnight, right? So with time, you develop credibility as a person who is sharing what they learn. And it's also important to share mistakes, I think. So it's important to be not just show good results, but sometimes bad results. Say, okay, like I tried these things, they didn't work. Or like, for example, the most popular post on the Substack was about my mistake of accidentally deleting a database. I think it's somewhere
Hey,
here. Yeah, this one, most popular, right? Surprisingly, it got a lot of attention, right? While I'm not trying to pose as an expert in like many things, I'm just sharing what I learned, and some people found it useful and it resonated with some people. Some people learned something from this, and I think this is what you should try to. My personal opinion, this is what you should try to. This is what you should aspire to, and then eventually, with time, you build credibility. And then people start inviting you to give talks, to share your opinion. And then with time, with 1 year, with 2 years, you already have credibility because you have this public presence. And so to me, this public presence and credibility are kind of similar, right? Because you, uh, like, if you know a lot of things, but you don't tell about them to anyone, then nobody knows about this, right? But when you share what you know with people, people know about this, people start following this, people start recognizing you, and this is how you establish credibility. And it doesn't matter if you're self-taught or not. Like I think for if you're actually self-taught, it's even better, right? Because you know the struggle, right? So then other people who are also self-taught, they know they can relate to you better.
so yeah, on the article I was talking about, there are screenshots. So if you go there, there are screenshots from people who shared that they got promoted on their job thanks to learning in public, and also there are people who got new job offers thanks to publishing online without any previous experience in machine learning and AI.
Okay, so another one. It seems quite demanding. How much time per week uh, do you think one should dedicate to benefit from being not passively part of the community? It's all up to you, right? So some things, of course, they require time. So, for example, um, so I'm just thinking, yes, we presented a lot of ideas, and some of these ideas, joining events or joining these building sessions, they do require time, right? You might not have time to join them, and this is fine. But what is important is you get your plan and we give you the structure to stick to this plan. And in this plan, let's say you work 40 hours per week or I don't know, 60 hours per week, and you have 3 kids, then you don't have a lot of time, right? Well, with three kids, you probably wouldn't be sitting here listening to to us. But anyways, so maybe you don't have a lot of time, but you still want to progress, right? So what we want to do, what we want to give you is a plan with simple steps. And even if you don't have a lot of time, let's say you have only 1 or 2 hours, you have this plan and you have the accountability structure, right? And then it's up to you to decide how much time you want to put, but we will keep you accountable that you put at least 1 or 2 hours. So it's up to you to define the budget you want to spend, and we will make sure that you actually spend this time on doing what you want instead of opening Instagram and watching puppies, whatever. Well, this is also important, right? But like at the end, you're probably here because you want to build something, and we will make sure you do. But the more free time you have, or not free time, the more time you want to dedicate to this, the better, of course. And it's all up to you. Um, because some things they will require some time. And since this community is only starting, I cannot give you a good answer. Like I cannot give you an exact answer, whether it's like 3 hours, 5 hours, or 10 hours. So we will see that. And it all depends on um, your commitment, the commitment you're really ready to give. But even if it's just 2 hours per week, you will already benefit from this. Anything you want to add?
No, I think that's
Yeah, the stream is recorded. Um, As per the job descriptions, recruiters and companies need someone who have the skill set of the entire IT team. Is it possible to learn all the skills? No, it's not possible, and it has always been like that. So you open a job description of a data scientist from, I don't know, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, and its entire team there. Like it hasn't really changed. Right now, it's just instead of data scientist, it's AI engineer, but it's still the case. However, so first of all, yes, you need to manage expectations of the recruiter, and you can say, okay, I can bring this, but for this one, sorry, I cannot. And you always treat these job descriptions as a wish list. So they wish to find a person who checks who all the boxes, but reality is that they will probably not. That's one thing. And you apply anyways, even if you use like, I don't know, it's 50% of the boxes, not all of them, you still apply. The other thing is today, unlike 5 years ago, we have AI tools, right? With Claude Code, with Codex, with all the with Cursor, with all the coding assistants, you can actually be the entire AI team without having the skills, right? As long as you know how to operate these agents efficiently, how to give them tasks in such a way that they actually deliver, and how to control the quality, it's actually possible to do things that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise, right? So most of my career life, I worked on backend things. So I rarely touch front end. But now I can actually build good websites without this. Valeriia also is a good example. She doesn't really have any front end experience. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the websites she's building right now with all these AI tools is pretty impressive. So right now, what you see here, can I actually, yeah, so this is Valeriia built it using Cursor, right? So it's
yeah,
certainly possible. Like we
it,
don't need an AI team for that, right?
yeah, yeah. It's not like entirely vibe coded without any attention put into it, but I'm not exactly a front end developer, but still, with my understanding, I can build such websites with AI. I have some experience with Next.js, but not much, not definitely as someone who would build this without AI.
Yeah, so what I would suggest is, yes, know your limitations, but also know that today it's actually possible to be full stack with AI tools. And then you might not have the skill set of the entire team, AI, IT team, but your agents do have the skills, right? And if you know how to manage these agents, then by extension, you kind of have the skills of the entire IT team. So the answer is managing expectations, but with the AI tools, we are kind of getting there, right? And you don't need to be an expert there. And what we want to teach you in this community, what we want to show you, what we want to build together is actually like I'm just a front-end engineer. How can I have the skills of the entire IT team? You can't, but uh, with AI tools, we're getting there. So we want to show you how, and we want you to teach, and we want to build these things together. Oops, what's happening? Okay, whatever. Um, is this community suitable for people who are not working in the IT industry, but want to implement this knowledge in their professional domain? Um, I know, Valeria, do we work in the IT industry right now with you? I guess we kind of are, but uh,
Maybe this is the question about whether this community will be useful for someone who are not technical.
yeah, could be. Um, like, do you consider yourself a very technical person, Valeria?
Kind of like
Mm.
20-30%.
Okay, 20,
But
30%.
yeah, but I believe this community is for someone who wants to build with AI tools. And if you are a person like that, we can build a plan for you together. But if you are just looking into some community where you will learn how to use Nana Banana or ChatGPT, this is probably
Hmm.
not the option for you.
Yeah, so we focus on building with AI, right? Um, but also depend what exactly you do
You
in.
mean by
Yeah, because like for example, there are companies who pharmaceutical companies, but still there are software engineers, right? So maybe this person is just not a software engineer, but they still want to build with AI. And yes, it's possible. And one of the courses that we plan to have, this Python course, the idea is actually is from one of the students of the Maven course, um, who was struggling a bit with Python. And this gave me an idea that perhaps it could be interesting for many people who are not there yet in terms of Python skills to also bring them up to speed and also to show them how to use AI to do that. So it's definitely possible. Um, Sky is the limit. Also, your motivation plays a role. Like it depends how motivated you are. So if you're not very motivated and you're here because you heard that um, right now money is in the AI, I don't know how far you can get, but if you have this motivation within you to build something, to try these tools, then you're certainly going to go far. Okay, so last two questions. Will the membership be useful for experienced AI engineers, but those who easily get lost because of huge amount of new projects and inventions? Um, I'm in the same position right now because I open Twitter and I'm bombarded with all the things. So perhaps I would say yes. So we want to make this community useful for everyone, regardless of their experience, right? So right now, as an experienced AI engineers, you probably have some um, aspirations or some problems you want to solve. And I want to hear from you what kind of problems, what kind of aspirations you have. And I want to build a plan together with you to understand how you can get from where you are to where you want to be. And if this sounds interesting to you, yeah, let's talk. And then with time, we figure out how to make it useful for everyone. But at least this part, I can promise you that is going to be very useful. And perhaps it could be not necessarily in how to build, but what to build, right? So this could be the problem because you say there's a huge amount of new projects, and I have this problem too. Like the amount of ideas I have is always way more than amount of time I have. So I can probably share some of my experience with you, and also mm, uh, learning how to make AI work for you with as little of your involvement as possible is if you think this is interesting, this is something I want to cover because this is something I'm actively learning. about, and this is something I want to share with others, right? So if this sounds like an interesting topic for you, then it's definitely going to be useful. Because right now I'm experimenting with systems where we have many, many agents working together on the same task, and I want to make it independent from whether you use Cloud Code, whether you use Codex, because all these systems, they become not very reliable. Like with Cloud Code, you can easily run out of limits. With Codex, I don't know, something else may happen. So I want to develop a system where it's all independent of what kind of execution engine you use. But as long as you have this structure, you can just outsource your ideas and the agents will build these ideas. So if it sounds interesting, then I'm going to share these things because this is something I'm very interested right now about. I'm learning about this and I want to share this. Why do you use Edge browser? So my Chrome right now, if I open YouTube, is I logged in with my DataTalks.Club account. So this stream is on my personal YouTube. That's why I needed to use a different browser. Personally, I don't use Edge, only in cases when I need to use a different profile, not a one of Edge. But Valeriia, I went through these last questions rather quickly. Maybe there was something you wanted to add, but I didn't give you a chance.
No, I think you covered everything, and I don't have anything to add.
Yeah, thanks. So I guess last thing before we finish is this is the website, AI Shipping Labs. Valeriia already showed you how to navigate. So you scroll down, you read, you think, okay, I like this or I like that, and then you get started. Um, the integration is still work in progress. Once we have this website that is here that works, we will migrate it. So we'll just drop the dev. And then you will get automatic emails. Right now, it's not the case. So when you sign up, please let us know if you don't receive any email from us. We will add you to the community manually. Um, and that's it, I guess. Anything I forgot?
Yeah, I just want to add that people who are inside the community already, we will reach out to you to work on your personal plans, as we mentioned. We've already reached to many of you. But maybe not everyone needs a personal plan now. But if you are, please contact us. If you need, yeah, if you do, contact us. And I think we've covered everything.
Um, And at the end, I want to take a bit of time to personally thank Valeriia for all the effort she put. So what you see right now is she actually put a lot of effort into what you see. So I want to thank her for all the good work she did. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you too for this opportunity. It's great to be part of the community and to try myself as someone who prepares and works on the content side of things. Yeah, it's very interesting and fascinating path, I'd say, to be part of this group of people who tries to follow all this AI buzz and who builds with AI. And I'm actually myself passionate about this topic, and maybe someday I will be, um, in a way, AI engineer myself, but who knows?
Okay, I gained my connection. I lost my
Okay.
internet connection. Um, because I wanted to nod and say yes, but then I'm
Okay.
sorry about that. But thanks everyone for joining us today.
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
really nice to see this interest. So if you still have some questions, if you watch this in recording, um, so there is my Substack. I think when you receive an email from me on Substack, you can reply to this email and then it will land in my inbox. So I will be able to answer that. But also I'll include my email, so feel free to reach out. Then LinkedIn, we can also reach out to Valeriia on LinkedIn. We're always happy to answer your questions.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. Thanks everyone. It was fun. And well, I'll go enjoy the rest of the day today. I'm in Darmstadt right now. There is a conference that is happening tomorrow called PyCon DE. So I'm going to go and explore the city, have dinner, and prepare for the conference tomorrow. So, and by the way, if you're in Darmstadt too, ping me.